Pink Poodle Crafts, join the Poodle Pack. It's time to get creative and make you laugh. Make your own art today. Pink Poodle Crafts is the way.
What a good boy. Hey crafty family, it's me. And today we are going to play with some clay. That rhymed. We're going to play with some clay. So for my Patreon group, we are doing a Chunky Charm swap. And, you know, some of the people in the group might not have charms or they might not have beads. So I'm going to show them how to make charms and beads that are kind of like boho style, kind of like old relics. You can make them look vintage. You can do whatever you want. They're very artsy looking. They're not perfect. So I'm not a good bead person with clay. I'm not good with clay. So I've made these before, like years ago. I don't even know, did I even use acrylic or a polymer clay or air dry clay? You could do it with either, but I can't remember if I used polymer or air dry. It might have been like air dry clay, I think. This was prior to me having any charms, and I really wanted to make jewelry. And I remember, like, I had a magazine and they showed you how to make like clay beads, like very simple clay beads and like textured beads. But see, mine didn't come out as nice as theirs, so I kind of made my own style, I guess you could say. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And I just realized I don't have my roller over here. Oh no. Oh no. I don't have my roller over here. Oh, poop. I thought I did. My pink roller. Oh well. Hold on one second and I will go get my roller. Okay, got it. This is a cheap dollar store plastic crappy rolling pin. And I like to use that. I have I softened the clay, you know, like using my pasta machine thing that I got in a Happy Mail. And then the clay is brought to you by Miss Janie, who a long time ago gave me a bunch of clay because I wanted to do things like this. But unfortunately, I got sick and then got backed up. And then, you know, all things happened and you know how it is. So that's life. So basically I'm going to roll it out. I'm not even like trying to make it even or perfect. I don't care with this project. I don't need them to be even or perfect, but I do want them to be a little bit thick. So I don't know how thick that is, but it's like like a 1/16 of an inch, kind of. A little bit thin down here, so I'll probably use mostly up here. And you want it a little thick because these are going to be the charms. And I also didn't bring the little circles over here either. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, I left them up there. Hold on. I'm leaving things all over the place. I'm doing real well today. Anyway, I got some circle cutters. If you don't have circle cutters, you don't need circle cutters. You can use a little bowl thing, a little container, a little Dixie cup type of thing. Don't need it. Okay, and again, you don't need polymer clay. You can use air dry, cheapy air dry clay. Works perfectly fine. So what you could do is you're going to basically make some texture on here. Now you can use anything for texture. If I have these little cheapy things that you can press into your plates, I've got these little texture plates that I could use, and I might use some of these. These are cheap. You can get these from Walmart, Amazon. I don't remember where. I think I got them at the Creative Reuse or somebody gave them to me. Oh crap, I don't remember. But anyway, they're just like cheapy. They even say on them, what do they say? Clay marking. Yeah, markings clay. Makin's clay or something. I don't know. But anyway, you can use stuff like that. These are like kids' rub plates. And they have a pattern on each side. I can use these to make marks. So there's many things, but you can also, which most of us will have this, you can also use rubber stamps. What do I do with my rubber stamps now? I am prepared. What did I do with them? I just moved them. And I don't remember where I moved them to. Move X-Lax. Well, here we go. Let me get this basket. I've got these background stamps. So, I've got these stamps. And if you're worried about your clay sticking, you can use your like embossing buddy or a little cornstarch in something and put it on there. And it doesn't matter what color your clay is either, because we're going to paint it. So don't even worry about it. So if you don't have like, you know, if you don't have like black clay or white clay or a certain color or whatever, you can just use any color and then we'll paint it later. So I'm going to do like some random, where's that thin spot over here? So I'm going to do some random things. I'm going to press like some patterns in. And if it doesn't go all the way, that's fine. I'm just going to press in like some random, because if it doesn't go in all the way with one stamp, you can go back over it with another. And I'm just going to make random marks in my clay with the stamps. And it works really well. And I've got this. I don't think that'll leave much of a mark. I've got this one. That leaves a cool mark. And then I could use these little texture things to make like circles, like that. And I just work on a big piece. Let's see what else we got here. You can also use like your mark making tools that you have for your jelly plate and stuff. You could take this trivet and make marks. You see what I mean? You don't have to have anything fancy. You could just use whatever. You could take some of this. The whole point of it is to be kind of random and cool and just however. You can even take this and make some little marks. You can go over the same place twice. You know what I mean? Like there's no kind of thing you have to do. Like I have this cool swirly pattern which makes marks. Anything to make marks in your clay. Like so. And let's see, do I want to make any other marks? I've got this cool kind of honeycomb pattern. Let's see, let's do some of it over here. And some of it over here. Some of it here. There we go. See, now I've got some cool marks to work with. So once you do that, now you're going to make your charms. So you choose what size you want. And like I said, you don't have to have these. You can use anything that'll make a circle. So you could just choose to do like that. Nice. And I'm keeping it fairly thick, like I said. You know, I could do it so that there's a few different charms, like a few different textures in one. So they look kind of funky and cool. And then you can also, without doing it that way, and this is how I would do it sometimes, is take it and either use a razor blade like this. This might be the easiest way to do it. And just kind of cut a random shape that doesn't have any rhyme or reason, that would make an interesting charm. You know what I mean? You can do however you want. Just tapping out any rough edges and make charms like that. And then when you're done and you don't have anything left, you could just start over again. So this is how many we have so far. And I'm happy with these. The only one I might make a little smaller because I want it to be more of a charm and not like a pendant. So I might actually just kind of make this one a bit smaller and just kind of make it like that. And so there's the start to some charms. And then you can do it all over again. Another thing you can do is make beads. And I'll show you how to make some textured beads that are kind of easy to make. And for this you'll need some toothpicks. Let me grab some. There we go. Whoops, I dropped it on the floor. There we go. You'll need a toothpick for this one after I move these out of the way so that they don't get in the way of rolling these out. Okay, so I'm going to roll this out again. And this time I do want to roll it and try to keep it as even as possible. So a good way to do that is using popsicle sticks, which I'm trying to find mine right now. What did I do with them? Here we go. It was good enough. You can use a couple of popsicle sticks so that you don't go too much thinner than that because you'll hit the sticks. Even though these are a little thin, these popsicle sticks, but it's okay. Actually, it's actually probably pretty good thickness as these popsicle sticks are. And just roll it out nice and thin. And like I said, I'm not a bead expert, so you can look online for lots of tutorials on how to make beads that are more perfected, more, you know what I'm saying. These are not them. These are just fun, kind of like boho beads. They're just kind of like a boho clay bead. They're not anything with any uniformity. They're just fun. Not sure if that will show up all that much, but I'll try it. And like you can even use your roller, it might be easier to get the texture in. Like that. I'm just going to use some different textures. Here we've got, somewhere I've got like these squiggly lines. Like so. I don't even care if there's like a line on it. Don't care. There's like a fish scale. Let's see what else we got here. Got this cool design. Alright, so once you got some texture in your thingamabobber, I'm going to go ahead and add some more texture. Once you've gotten just some texture, you can, probably good to use a ruler for this. But what we're going to do is, and I probably should have did it a little, well, I could do it like this and try to get it as even as possible. You're going to slice the clay, and then kind of like when you make paper beads, you're going to make a V, and like this. Okay, and then you're going to cut it straight. And make sure that you have your texture at your tip there. So if I need to add a little more, use something delicate. There we go. And then you're going to roll it over. You're going to take your toothpick, and don't press it to the toothpick too hard. Lightly. And this one's going to end up being a little thicker, but that's okay. And there you go. You've got this cool bead that you can bake. And if you want to get off any like weird edges, you could just take your razor blade and go around it and pull off any kind of weird edging. So it's a little more even, Steven. Like so. And if you have an area that doesn't have a lot of texture, you could try, if you're careful, to like add some texture back into it. Being very careful not to mash your bead down too much, but you can potentially. If it's a small area, you want to use like a small texture. And then you just bake it, and then we'll paint it. So then you can do another one, since you already got a straight line. Pull that piece off. You already got a straight line here, so now I can go, well, that's got a better, well, we'll do it this way, and if I have to add more texture to it, I will. I feel like I might need to add a little more texture to the tip of my, there we go. Flip it over, cut a straight edge on it, get your toothpick, unroll it. Mine's not straight, but that's all right. And then twist your, oh, you know what, I want to cut the edges here so they're not hanging off. Oh, that edge seems okay. And then here's another one. Cool, isn't it? I lost a little of my texture there. So I got 2 of those and a bunch of those. And I'll make a couple more of these. I think I'll make a couple of more, but I'll try to make them a little thinner. Toothpick, where'd you go? Toothpick, where'd you go? Yo, toothpick. There you are, hiding. It was hiding from me. Toothpick didn't like me. You can hold on to the sides of the toothpick so you're not pressing your clay too much. Except for at the end, you're gonna have trouble with that. Well, there you go. Now, these will look really cool when they're painted and decorated. Now with these, you need to put a hole in these somewhere. So you want to, and you don't want to do it too close to the edge. So you want to put a hole, because obviously if they're charms, you want there to be a hole. And if you go from the front, it'll give you a hole, but it won't like pucker like it does on the back. And I don't care if it does on the back, because it just gives it character. Like I said, these are not like fancy charms. These are meant to be artsy and fun, and you'll see what they look like when they're painted and stuff. And you can put pigments on them, do all kinds of things. So, and they end up looking pretty cool. You just want to be careful you don't crush down your pattern while you're putting your holes in and all that stuff. And like we got this one. And when you're poking your holes, you want to twist your toothpick. Twist, twist, twist as you're going through. Twist, 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 twist. It'll help. And it'll help if you say twist, 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 twist. I'll show you one other. Oh, sorry. Stomach's growling. I'll show you another way to do it, where you just take a piece of clay and this is probably too thin. Well, let me cut some more beads out of this before I smoosh it all up, because I might as well. I'm gonna make that one a little smaller. But yeah, you're just basically cutting it at an angle. This one will be a little thinner. And it's good if you work on a glass mat or a tile, like a smooth ceramic tile. Definitely best. You don't want to work on a rough surface or one that you're not going to be able to get your pieces off of easily. If you don't have a fancy razor, like I have this thing, I barely use this thing because it scares me. I use this because I can do this and then pull off my pieces like that. And this will bend, have a little give. I don't know which one's more scarier to use or better to use. I don't know. I don't know, but that's what I use. Okay. just slightly shorter as well. I'm messing this all up. That's all right. They're supposed to be artsy, so it doesn't really matter. This one, oh, where's, I was going to say, where's all the texture? I pushed it out of it, I think. That's okay. It'll still look pretty. When it's done, it'll still look pretty. I think I'm gonna make one more of the smaller, skinnier ones just so I can move on. So I want to show you a couple other things. Okay. This one's like a saucer bead. It's still cool. Cool. Okay. What was I going to show you? Let me grab a drink. My mouth gets so dry. I forget what I was going to show you. Oh yeah. Also, another thing you could do is take your clay. If you don't have anything to make patterns with and you don't feel like it, get over here, don't fall down. You can take your clay and make yourself a snake, which I don't need that much for it, just a little bit. You're going to make a sort of a snaky thing. And I may need a skewer that's a little longer. Oh, here we go. I still have this stupid thing. This is like a metal rod type of thing. I don't remember what that was from. Don't remember. You could use a toothpick, but I'm just going to use this because it's easier. So I'm going to roll out, like everybody knows how to do a snake. You're going to roll it out fairly thin. This is probably one of the easiest beads to make. So you're going to roll it out fairly thin. I forget how many inches or how long, so I'm just going to roll a long one out and then, because the thickness of this is going to determine the thickness of your bead. So you're going to want to roll it out fairly thin. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, mine's not perfect. Okay, so I'm going to do that much, which is how much? Like 6.5 inches. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to coil it around like a spiral. If I can get it to work out here. I haven't done one of these in a long ass time. There we go. There's a certain name for these type of beads, but I don't remember what it is. It might just be a spiral bead. I don't know. I forget. Again, I seen most of the stuff that I seen about clay beads in magazines initially because YouTube didn't even exist. Now that's clearly a bit long, and I don't know if I'll be able to get it off this stick. Nope. Well, that still looks cool. I'll just cut it here and then try to get my tube back. There we go. I should have done it on a toothpick. I think this metal thing needs to be, it looks cooler when you do it right, but we'll use it. Here, let's do another one. This time I'll do it on a toothpick because that made more sense. I think we only need about 4 inches. Not 6. Probably less than that even. Okay, let's do that. About approximately 4 inches. I'm even going to put some cornstarch on here just to make sure I can get it off. Anywho, now we're going to twist it on there. I'm not pressing it on there. I'm trying to be light so that I can get it off. There we go. Twist it. I forgot how to get the damn thing off. Just twist the toothpick. And there you go. You got like a little spiral bead. And it's very easy to do. And you can make them in the bunches. And they come out really cute too. You can make them a little thicker. Like here's one I'll do. It's a little thicker. This one's slightly thicker than the other one. Sorry if you can't see. I'm trying my best. Maybe if I move the camera slightly back this way, because in case I get, because I have to see, and my eyes are bad, so. Kind of looks like one of those lollipops. What are they? They're like the twisty lollipops. It's kind of like that, but in a clay form. Okay. Twisty and cute. So I'm going to make a few of those too, because why not? This way we'll have a variety to decorate. Yeah, 4 inches is a good size. I think any longer than that is a little much. Twistity, twistity. Just kind of pressing the edges down and then gently start twisting the toothpick. Getting better there, getting better. So you can make those type of beads. That works. So I made, let's see, 4 of those. What was another one? Oh, you could just do a round bead. I didn't even, duh. So we can do a round bead where you just roll it in your hand. And the more softer it is, the better. You'll get like, that one's like oblong. The more softer it is, the better it'll be. And sometimes it's easier if you roll it on the glass and you use a very gentle, like your hand's barely touching it in the palm of your hand. And you just kind of roll it in different directions. And I don't care about perfection when it comes to these, so I don't usually worry about whether it's perfect. I don't really care. I stick this through, and the important thing to do here is to twist using very light pressure. It takes a minute to get it to go through, but it'll go through without wrecking your bead. Pull it all the way through one end, and then you can kind of tap that down where it's kind of puckered up, and then go in the other end and twist it through, and you won't have like a pucker on either side. You'll have like a nice smooth bead. You can also attempt to roll it onto some texture. It's better if you do this with the toothpick in it. I forgot. So you can roll it on some texture. Now it'll flatten it out a little bit, but you'll get like a really cool kind of texture down the middle. So you can do that. Let's do a couple of those. I'll do different sizes and different textures in the middle. So there's all kinds of fun things you could do with some clay. I mean, if you don't have a lot of beads to make a chunky charm, you can sit here with a thing of clay and make all the beads you need. You can make real tiny ones, you can make big ones, you know, you can make all that you need for your chunky charm just using some clay that you might have laying around. Or if you get some cheap air dry clay. You know what I'm saying? You don't need fancy beads. I mean, everybody has seed beads lying around, I'm sure. So, you know, couple of these with some seed beads or some like just basic, even plastic beads will make a nice charm. You know what I mean? To like accent all these clay charms, just get yourself some, even some pony beads or plastic beads or whatever you can find to make some cool beads for yourself, for your charms. And we're doing the beads today, but then we're going to do part 2 will be likely either A, live stream, or B, a video that'll show you putting together the chunky charm. But today we're still going to be working on the beads and see how it gets that like puckery thing. And how you fix that is you tap, tap, tap a little bit, and then the hole will get a little smaller, and then you just poke through to the other side. So yeah, today we're doing this part of it, and we're going to decorate all of them and everything. I'll show you what I do to decorate them. Pressing them down like so. Gives it a little texture. You don't have to do this either. You can just leave them plain. And let's see, I got enough for at least one more. And I've got more clay too, so I have one other type of bead or charm I could show you that's really kind of random. I don't know how I made these two like almost the same size exactly. Is this one too? Yeah, how did I do that? I never do that. All three of them are practically the same size. Usually I have them like completely wonky. Okay, let's see. Poke it, twist it, twist it, twist it, twist it. It doesn't matter where you start, it's going to come out pretty much on the other side. And then tap, tap, tap. Stick it in. That's what she said. Here, we'll use the script stamp this time, and we'll just go along the script here. Like it has a line of, isn't that cool? It has like a line of script going all down it. I love it. So, yeah, you can have lots of fun with these. The other one I was going to show you, where's my other clay? Here it is. The other one I was going to show you is one that you don't even really need any tools to do. You just kind of push it down and you make like a very wonky kind of shape. Not too thin, but you want it to be kind of like almost like, it's like a relic. I call them like relic beads. And these are like a lot of fun because they don't have any rhyme or reason. And you just add your texture or whatever. And you can add whatever textures you want, obviously, like we were doing. And then you just stick a hole in it, and it's just so easy. You don't have to roll. You don't have to like. I would stick your hole in the thickest part. You know, if you have like a thinner area, do it in the thickest part of it. Make your little hole, and you got like this cool kind of like a relic almost. I call them relics because they look like they're just pieces of something. You know what I mean? They don't look like they're, and this is more of a pendant size. I need to make some that are, if I'm doing it for a chunky charm, I want them to be a lot smaller than that. Oops. Like these are even pushing it. These are going to be a bit big, but that's okay because that's all right. It's okay. Why does it feel like my nails are being weird? I don't know. My hands are a mess. So I made a little smaller one and just mush it and then squeeze it out. Just being careful not to make it so thin that it'll chip once it's baked. But you can make it, you know, fairly thin. Because obviously this is going to harden. The whole point is it's not supposed to be perfectly round. It's just supposed to be, you know, wonky. Do some of that. Do some of that. Some circles. And I don't know if this map will do anything. Oh, that does. The part with the text did. Is there one with stars or something on it? Oh, yeah, there we go. Add a couple of stars in there. Like that. And then take it and put a hole in it. There you go. Even that's a little big. I'm making some big ass charms. Can I make them smaller? Goodness gracious. Let's try to get them even smaller. This is going to be a chunky ass chunky charm. Yeah, that's better. That's better. We could do a bunch of little stars on this one. Stars are nice because I can kind of pinpoint where I want them to be. Stars, try to get some more of that script. There we go. Put the hole in it. And that'll be cool. It doesn't matter if it's like curled up a little bit, like it'll even look cooler. Like I think I'm going to leave it kind of curled up just a tad. Same with that one, just so that they look a little, you know, different, a little wonky. Fun stuff, fun stuff. I'll make some more round beads, but these are going to be a little bit smaller. It's fun to play with clay. I enjoy it. I love, my favorite type of clay is the earth clay, like that kind you get that's like the wet clay. You can get that where it's air dry. I have a bunch of it. I've had it for years. And I had it actually in my basement for years. And it stayed, like it stayed wet and it didn't dry up, which is amazing. It's, what do they call it? They call it earth clay, don't they? I don't know. This I could put, oops, I put that back in. I always do that. This I can put little stars on, probably, and like do that all the way around. Oops. My big finger is in the way. My big hand is in the way. There we go. That's kind of like a star bead. I'll do a couple of those. But yeah, this is like, you know, kind of a, I don't even know what you'd call it, like a very mishmashy. I got it under my nails. How do I manage that? There's nothing about this that's even or perfect, and that kind of is what makes it kind of boho. And especially when I add like the colors that I'm going to add, and then we're going to use a glaze on them, like a varnish type of thing, and make them all shiny and kind of cool. It'll be pretty neat. You can also do like these type of beads. I can't think of the name. Like that. And as long as you push it through the middle and work it carefully through and take your time, it'll go all the way through. And just be careful. And then I can put the stars on this one too. Just go around putting little stars. Like that. And it puts a little stars on there. So you can do all kinds of shapes with clay. Clay is easy to make. You can even make your tiny beads. You know, you can make your small beads. As long as you work the toothpick in carefully, as long as you're, you know, it's not so small that it splits in half when you put the toothpick through it, you know, which these don't. You can just make some, and I run a line of text over it again. You don't need to press real hard. Let's see. It's fun to make clay beads. And you can use if you have bead caps and stuff like that, you can totally use all that stuff with these. What texture plates do I have over here? Any of them with small designs, or they all got larger designs? Yeah, it looks like they all pretty much have a little bit larger designs on them. Oh, this one doesn't. This one's got like a snakeskin pattern. Cool. Is it gonna show up today? Probably not. Nope. Anyway, it's cool. Take my word for it. I don't know what else to tell you. So I guess what I'm going to do is, for the sake of this video being really long, because we've already been going 45 minutes and I haven't baked anything yet. And oh, you can also make like, you can like take the edges and make them kind of like that, like pointy edges. And you'll lose a little bit of the point when you're sticking the bead in, but not too much, not too bad. And you can fix it when it's on the stick too. You just want to guide it so it comes back out the point. There we go, good enough. But you can kind of reshape it while it's on the stick and like even take your blade and just kind of flatten. Make funny ones. Funny ones. All right, so that's it. I'm going to stop the video for now. I'm going to go and bake these, and then when I come back, we're going to decorate them and paint them and do all kinds of fun stuff to them and make them look really cool. So I will be back right after these messages. I'm just kidding. I'll be back in a few minutes. Before I go, actually, I forgot that I wanted to, I already put the other ones, baked the other ones, and while I was baking them, I forgot there was, like, I think 2 more beads I wanted to show you, that I wanted to do, and I completely forgot, because I'm a dingbat. But I wanted to show you, I'm going to drop that on the floor first. That's the important step. Make sure you drop it on the floor because that'll help. Now, I'm going to take, you can make, I forgot about this tip as well. If you want to make even pieces, which I hardly ever worry about, but let's say you wanted to make some even pieces of clay and you would, if you have something round you can take and cut them out with, you can make even pieces of clay by doing that, and then you can obviously roll them into a ball and make your, you know, your beads. I'm going to grab a needle for this one. I'm going to show you how to do a bead that I haven't. I'm going to use a needle if I could find a needle here. I got them somewhere. The needle will be a little easier. The hole will be a little smaller, but come on. Come on. Come on. This one's like a blunt needle, but that's fine. So they'll all be the same size because I cut them all out with the same size. Who's a what's it? So I'm going to, oh, you know what I meant to do first? Well, we're going to screw that up now. I meant to take a clear acrylic block or something and just press it down ever so slightly like that. And then we're going to stick it on here. We're going to work that through, twisting it, working it, work it, work it. And the shape is not going to be perfect. Come on. Get out the other side without making a mess of everything. Then put it on the other side. And then you can fix your shape a little bit. I'm just, these are like going to be flat kind of beads, but we're going to put a texture on both sides, and I wanted to show you this, how you can do texture on both sides. So you can take it and you can put it one thing on the bottom, and since these are small, I'm trying to find a small texture that I can use. Well, how about the text on here? And we'll do the text on the top, and we'll just press it down a little bit, like so. And then you've got texture on one side and texture on the other side. Then you can twist it to get your needle loose. And now you've got a textured flat bead. So I'm going to make these 4. They're a real easy bead to make. A real easy one. I'll do one with the swirls. So you take it and you just flatten it out slightly. I might have flattened it out a little too much. pull it out, put it back in this side, work it, and then while it's on the needle, you lay it on your texture where you want it. And then, let's see this one. And then you just flatten it out a little bit, not too much. You don't want to go overboard, but just enough. And then twist it carefully to get it off. And you've got a really cool flat bead. Really cool! I forgot all about that, doing that. Whatever. Looking for some other stamps I could use. I have those 2 wooden stamps that I just got, but I don't remember what I did with them. Well, I roll this bead out. Let me look for that because I honestly don't know what I did with them. I don't understand. Well, I have this one has some cool texture on it. I don't care about the butterfly. I care more about the texture. I literally stuck those stamps somewhere and just completely lost them. I don't know how I did it. That's what I did. 2 big wooden stamps. I don't get how I could have possibly lost them. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know. I could have sworn I had them right down here. Well, so much for that. I wanted to use them, but story of my life. I lose everything. You know what I mean? I don't know where the hell they went. I have no idea. This is the problem with having memory issues. My memory issues are getting so bad. Like, I literally just got them and literally just put them away, and I have no clue what I did with them. That's the sucky part about having memory issues. Like, my short-term memory is so bad. It's ridiculous how bad it is. So we're going to put this here. And what else can we put on top? Do I have anything else over here that would work? There we go. I can use, whoa. I can use one of these stamps that has a little design in it. Okay. Get them out of the package. That would be a start. I don't even have to take it off the thing. I'll just use this little design there, press it down. Perfect. Oh, I didn't leave it on the, damn. Well, maybe we could salvage it. I forgot to leave it on, no, I can't, I'll have to redo it. Forgot to leave it on the needle. That's the important part, so you don't collapse your hole. You don't want to do that. You don't want to collapse your hole. Nobody wants a collapsed hole. And you can use a toothpick or whatever. A toothpick was a little bit thicker than this, and because I'm making them kind of small and narrow, more narrow, I'd rather use like a needle because it's thinner and it won't, less chance of it ripping through the top or the bottom of the bead. Okay, anyway, let's do that. And try sticking, let's do this one. Well, I just lifted that right off of there as soon as I put it on. I did it again. I took the needle out. What is wrong with me? Like, this is like, seriously. Oh my God, I'm losing my brain right now. Oh my God. Seriously. somebody please just take my brain out of my head and donate it to science. Not that they'd be able to do anything with it, but just give me a new brain. I'm going to be first in line for a brain transplant when that happens. Now I'm switching things, but then I'm going to leave it on there. Okay, jackass? Because goodness gracious. Alright, get out of my way. There we go. There we go. Okay, one more to go. So this is an easy way to do your beads as well, that you can do fairly easily with very little effort and get a nice result from it. Let's see, what else? Do this one. And I'll just do this one. Did it again. This is becoming a problem. I keep forgetting to leave the needle in. I didn't have this problem when I did them in the past. Only now. Anywho, nothing like repeating yourself. Sorry. Come on, clay. Get off. Okay, needle's on that time. Okay, so there we go. I got 4 beads, slightly different thicknesses, but overall nice. Nice beads. Okay, the other bead that I wanted to make with a similar thing about it, kind of, there it is, was a moon. I wanted to make a moon. Damn. I don't have my drink over here, and that's why I'm coughing and clearing my throat, because my throat gets way too dry, way too fast when I'm talking. Okay, I'm not going to make it too thin. I think that's about right. It's about right. And I'm going to make a I'm going to do it this size. I'm going to do it like that, and then I'm going to take this next size smaller. Now you could find 2 things that are smaller and larger, whether it's this, you know, and something else that's smaller than it. You can find things around the house, I'm sure. And I'm going to cut out and I'm obviously going to have to cut that down a little bit because it's not going to work. And then you can just shape it. Shape it how you want it. Make yourself a moon. And then you can add the texture just like you did with the other things. Just the way we did before. We can add some funky textures. Let's do this one. Take your acrylic block and smush it ever so slightly. I'm not going to smush it too much. Just enough. That's why I left it kind of thick. But now you've got a moon that we can stick a hole in. And you've got a charm. Now you can also put a hole at the bottom and hang a charm from the bottom of the moon as well, which I might do with this one. So there's one moon. We'll make another one. You can use like an empty pill bottle, something you could turn over and cut into the clay with. Will work just fine. I'm leaving it a little thick so that I can press my texture into it. Trying to think, do I want to try to make it smaller? Make a smaller moon? Yeah, let me try to make a smaller moon and see if I'm able to do it without too much issue. Yeah, there we go. So make some tiny moons. That's cute, cute, cute. And let's see. Doesn't have to be all the way there because I'm going to cut it anyway, so I can just cut out that part. That one's a little pointy. Let's see. Let's put it on. Put them on there. Two moons. Four moons. This one. Get off. And there we go. Texture on two sides. And then put our holes in. So now stars are a little harder because I'm not good at making stars freehand. And I don't have a star. I don't think I have a star thingamajiggity. Oh, and I also wanted to show you some other something else that to make texture with that I forgot all about that you can use. Roll this out a little thin, not too thin. I have these little, they've got like a texture built into them. So you would just roll across it one time. And they were sitting over there and I totally forgot to show them to you. And then you could just take your razor and voila, you get texture. I'm going to be potentially carrying these in my Etsy store, which will be fun. They have all different kinds. I have a few of the different kinds, so we can like so in the next month or so, I might have these. This one's kind of like a rough stone. Let's see, I've got other ones. It's easier for me to just mush it out like that. Because it's a small piece. And then we've got this one, which is all hearts. Let's see, you can't see it from there. Hearts. Let's try the other side and do this one. This would have been helpful earlier, but I had them sitting over there and they were kind of underneath my texture plates and I forgot about them. Swirls. So they're fun to play with because they're easy to make texture. Got two more. This one's got a cool pattern. Let's see what these patterns look like. It's kind of like a wave pattern. I like that. And then on the other side, we can do this one. So if you're interested, give me a message below if you're interested in these little things, and I will stock them into my Etsy store in the next round of stuff that I get. And that one's kind of like a stone or something, because I think they're pretty cool. They're easy to use and they're pretty small. They're not like going to be intrusive in your craft space, and they work pretty well. So we can do a moon. Let's do an actual moon with one of those. I'm spreading this out on here. I don't know why. I just did that. Ooh, I got some ink on it. That's right. I'm painting these anyway. It don't matter. I'm painting these suckers anyway. Okay. So if I did a texture at the bottom, like this, and then let's say I did the swirly at the top, and as I roll it, hopefully the texture will pick up on the bottom from the bottom thing, so we have it on both sides. And then gently peel it off. Yep, so we got texture on the bottom, texture on the top, and then we can do our moon shape. Did I use that one or is it this one? I think it's this one. There we go. So that's pretty cool. It gives it some texture on both sides. And that's easy to do. So get out of my way. So yeah, that's awesome. Loving that. So okay, we are going to bake the rest of these. I'm going to make some more little moons and little flat ones and play around for a while. And then I will put them in the oven and bake them. The other ones are cooling. I already baked them. So we will be back and I will show you how to decorate them. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video here and do a part 2 of me decorating them, because now the video is over an hour long. So I'm going to do, this will be part 1. Part 2 will be decorating the beads that I make and the charms that I make. Part 3 will be making the actual chunky charm using these beads. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be a 3-parter. I hope you don't mind. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helped you with making some simple beads that really are not that hard to do, that you can do, or, not even, make beads and charms to use in your chunky charms or your projects, hang them off of your journals, anything you want. You don't have to make them into beads. You could have just made a bunch of moons and glued it onto things. Of course, not put a hole in it. And after you bake it, you can paint them and do what you want and then glue them onto your projects or whatever you want to do. So I hope this helped, and I hope for those that are in my Patreon who are participating in the Chunky Charm swap, I hope this gave you some ideas in case you don't have a lot of actual charms and beads to use. So I'm hoping this will be a good way for you to make some. And also make sure you do what you love and love what you do and be nice to people. And I will see you in part 2. Talk to you later. Bye.